Speaking of lowriders, that leads us to our next panelist, Nancy Hernandez. And she is a 29-year-old Bay Area native. She spent half of her life as part of a grassroots movement for social justice and youth empowerment. After attending SFSU and majoring in Rasa studies, she worked with HOMIE, which stands for Homies Organizing the Mission to Empower Youth. And they confront the root causes of gang violence in the Chicano community. Nancy's on the board of HOMIE, and they are currently working on a project entitled Green My Ride, which will convert a series of old school cars into biodiesel lowriders. So definitely addressing John's problem. The project is mobilizing youth from neighborhoods in conflict and affected by poverty by working together on the restoration and conversion of gas-guzzling classic cars into environmentally sustainable outreach mobiles for the movement. So without further ado, here's Nancy Hernandez.
Hey, what's up? How are you guys? It's good to see everybody. I'm glad you guys are out here on a Friday. Kind of weird to be in the dark when it's so sunny out. But I wanted to tell you guys first a little bit about the organization HOMIE that is sponsoring this project. And I think I can pull up some images to show you while I talk. Is that right? What do I got to do? I'll take a second. So the organization HOMIE stands for Homies Organizing the Mission to Empower Youth. Anybody ever heard of it? Tight. So it's located on Mission and 9th Street, and HOMIE is an organization that outreaches to folks that have been a part of the street culture or been a part of gang culture in their youth and are now grown up. Some have gone through prison, some have gone through college, but a lot of people who have come through issues in the Mission District and want to now make some sort of progressive change in the Mission District and work with young people that are out there right now to benefit them so that they don't have to be involved in some of the violence that has been plaguing that community. So one of the main things that we do is we work with young people that are in the school system right now that are identified as high-risk youth. So in Mission High and O'Connell High, there's a whole bunch of high school students that are being pushed out of school, that are not being served in school, that don't see any of their anything in the school that reflects them or that motivates them. And so a lot of those schools have brought us in and asked us to help provide some sort of ethnic studies or some sort of culturally relevant curriculum or some sort of politically relevant curriculum to engage those young people that are most at risk of dropping out. So we have this program called Homies Schooling Homies, where we go into the schools, we work with those young people that are identified by the school as at risk of dropping out or at risk of street violence, and we teach them. And so we don't just teach them like, you know, I guess, A, B's, and C's. They kind of already know that. What we're there to provide is some sort of culturally relevant and culturally competent curriculum. Because a lot of those young people that are in those street organizations or that are looking for some sort of affiliation with a gang, what are they really looking for? They're looking for some sort of culture to affiliate with. They're looking with some sort of family to affiliate. They're looking for some sort of way to make money. And so we ask them, like, what are the root causes of all of these violent scenes that are going on in the Mission District? What are the things that are causing this violence? And after they have identified what those issues are, we try to incorporate that into the curriculum that we teach them. So one of the main things is that there's a huge population of young people that are Chicano, that are native, that are indigenous, but don't have anything in their life that reflects that culture other than their home and the television. And so all they're learning about their people is what the television is telling them. And so if you look at the representations of Latino people on television, it doesn't give us many options that we want to strive for. So a lot of the young people feel like the way to find culture is to affiliate with other young people and join street organizations. So what we try to do is take those young people that are hungry for that culture and teach them something culturally relevant, something ancestral, something older than us. And so this young man, Chuy, he's Mayan ancestry. His family speaks Mayan at home. And we took him on a mural tour to look at a lot of the different murals around the Mission District, and this is an image of him finding Lord Pacal, who this actual symbol is from Yucatan, where his family is from, and we taught him all about, you know, the way art has been used as a way to transmit our culture, transmit our identity, and transmit our history through public works of art. And we also take them to ceremony and take them to Aztec dancing and have them become involved in learning ancient traditions and cultures, and that a lot of times
provides for those young people what it is that they're looking for, what it is that they haven't been able to find. And by providing that for them, we also spend some time educating them about what's going on in politics, what's going on in the world. And a lot of those young people, after finding out about the politics of immigration, the politics of war, the politics of the environment, have taken that ideology that they had as a street soldier for a gang or a street soldier for a street organization and turning that more into like, I need to stand up for my community. I need to do something positive for my community. And that empowerment has led to them becoming very involved in a lot of the protests and mobilizations and actions that have gone on in the Bay Area in defense of immigrant communities, against the war, in defense of San Francisco's right to live in a healthy environment, and in defense of San Francisco funding youth programs and things that will provide positive jobs that give them something to do, that leads them into something that it has a positive alternative for them rather than being on the streets. So a lot of these images are of them mobilizing their own actions to stand up for immigrants or to stand up for young people's right to be in San Francisco, to continue funding youth programs in San Francisco, and against the gang injunctions which were implemented in the Bayview and Hunters Point and the Mission District, which are all, and Western Addition, which are all I guess the city's tactic or idea of how to stop young people from being out on the street. And so what they've been saying is we have the right to be out on the street. We should be able to be out on the street and feel safe on the street, and money needs to be invested into programs that will prevent that violence rather than putting money into programs that will lock up more young people that are out there. So through that progress and that process of empowerment, we've done a lot of art projects, a lot of banners and murals. And we've been able to work with young people on both sides of the gang conflict. So it's not that we're just working on one side of the neighborhood or on the other side of the neighborhood, but we've found that there are universal things that bring people together, such as nature, such as environment, and such as art. And so we've used camping trips and backpacking trips to mobilize young people who at one point in their life probably would have shot each other. But that through becoming involved with our organization and finding that camaraderie and finding that ideology within our organization, we've been able to take them on backpacking trips to the outdoors, to connect with nature, to learn about our responsibility as environmental stewards, and to find out what it is that we can do to bring that type of like healing space that comes from being in the outdoors into the city, and that sanity that comes from being outdoors.